Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. So today I'm continuing on my reviews of the Superman films. Last week I did Man of Steel and this week I'm doing Batman v Superman. So this was yet again directed by Zack Snyder and starred Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Lawrence Fishburne, Ben Affleck, Jeremy Irons, Gal Gadot. And this film really takes up after the events of Man of Steel, and it really looks at the fear that Batman has of this man who has the ability to destroy the planet, and he goes on this crusade trying to destroy him. It's focused more on the Superman aspect of this film than anything else, hence because it's mostly about Superman, the reviews that I'm doing. So what I sort of liked what they did with him in this. I think the Ultimate Edition is the best way to watch this film, which is much longer, near 3 hours, a bit over 3 hours. That is the best version because it has a lot of scenes within it that show how Superman gets to the point he does and how Batman gets to the point he does. So it sort of looks at Lois Lane out on doing a report as usual, and she gets in trouble and is being threatened to be killed, and Superman saves her. But there's a whole ploy set up by Lex Luthor to try and make Superman look like a villain. What this does is different to Man of Steel, is it really looks at people's fear of Superman. The idea, it's great that he's been there and helping others, but is he really helping? You know, is he causing more trouble than there actually is? And everybody becomes fearful of him, Batman included. And they don't know they know he's capable of so many things, and they don't know whether he is this sacred hero they all want him to be. And they start to doubt who he is. And there's this great sequence where he has a court case, which I really like. It's sort of in the Superman comics as well, but this court case where they sort of put him on trial and he comes to speak for himself. And unbeknownst to him, there is a bomb that's set off and it explodes, and most of the people are killed. And he doesn't really know and understand his place in this world anymore. He feels the world's gone crazy. It really looks at Superman as someone to be feared. Everybody fears him and doesn't know what he wants to do or what he's capable of. And after this explosion, he sort of disappears, goes up in the mountains, and then he has a sort of vision of Jonathan Kent. And there's this really great interaction between them two, where he's trying to work out what to do and what's important. And he loses hope a little bit in humanity and him as a person, and doubts his abilities and doubts what he's able to accomplish within this world and whether he's able to live in this world anymore or not. He sort of really comes up against Batman too in this sort of film, hence Batman v Superman, the title. But he starts to look at this vigilante who's going around killing people and causing pain in order to accomplish things. Batman's very angry in this, a lot angrier than he was in previous things. He's a lot older. So there's a lot of hatred towards society and him, and he feels he wants to do something big before it's too late. His eyes are set on Superman. There's a big statue that's created, looks at Superman as this hero, and it also looks at the fear that people have of this character. It introduces Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, who his interpretation of Lex Luthor is very interesting. I sort of like what he does here, but a lot of people didn't like it. They thought it was kind of over the top and ridiculous, but I thought it kind of suits it really. And he's really the driving force driving a wedge between Batman and Superman, causing this fight. The ultimate fight he talks about, man versus God. And Lex Luthor has his big plan that he puts into place that Superman doesn't see and Batman doesn't see until it's too late. And then they put Superman in a situation where Lex Luthor tells him he has to kill Batman, because if he doesn't kill Batman, they're going to kill Martha Kent, his mother, that they've kidnapped, and they're holding at ransom until he's able to accomplish it. And it sort of looks at Superman who wants to try and plead with Batman, but he doesn't know if he can. And he sort of says this line about, I guess everybody goes bad in the end. And he sort of has to do this thing and he doesn't want to. He starts to pursue it, but it gets to the point where Batman knows what he's up against and he's prepared himself for Superman. And there's this big fight, it goes for like 10 minutes, and he sort of nearly defeats Superman. But because Lois Lane comes at the right time, she saves him, and then it's about them working together and Batman saving Martha Kent and Superman stopping things from transpiring and stopping, Lex Luthor, who, unbeknownst to them, has begun creation of Doomsday. A very well-known villain within the Superman canon, and it turns out to be Superman versus Doomsday, accompanied by Batman and Wonder Woman appears in it. Gal Gadot is really great here as Wonder Woman. And they really get her right in this sort of thing. And she's some really great battle sequences with them. And seeing all three of them together is so fantastic. Like the beginning of the Justice League. And it's subsequently about them fighting this thing, and it ends up Superman sacrificing himself using a kryptonite spear to stab Doomsday, and Doomsday ultimately stabbing him and killing him. And this is very well known within the comics, especially comic Death of Superman, which was Superman against Doomsday. And then it looks at all of this sort of stuff and who Superman really is and the struggles he's finding here. I think they went in a really good direction with it, and showing Superman in a different light and pushing it towards fear of him and what he's accomplished and what he can do if he turns bad. And even to the point Batman has a vision of him turning bad. And it's all sort of setting up for a Justice League film with all these characters. But I just think the evolution of the Superman character is really great in this, and I like what they did with it. And I like that he wanted to sacrifice everything, even his life, in order to protect Metropolis, protect Earth, the place he calls home. And it's such a brilliant sort of evolution of the character, taken in a different direction. And I'm sort of happy in a way they didn't do Man of Steel 2 and they went into this and show him in a different light, and then did Justice League, and then we can see a Man of Steel 2 and see him as that person now. Look, when this film first came out, it divided audiences. Not a lot of people liked it. They didn't feel there was enough fighting in it, and the reason that Batman and Superman stopped fighting was kind of silly, they felt, and it still hasn't done real well. Look, I liked it. It wasn't brilliant, it had issues, yes, absolutely. But when I saw the Ultimate Edition, it explained a lot of things, and I felt the scenes that they added in there helped the story a lot more and our understanding of what's happening. And I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman and what they did with him, but it was really what the evolution of Superman and what they did, and I really loved that. And I love the court case sort of thing where he comes in to speak. I love things don't go the way he expects, and they look at him as some sort of villain, and his conflictedness with this, thinking he may have to actually kill Batman to stop Lex Luthor for killing his mother. It's just so heightened and much darker than a lot of the other films, and I think that was part of the thing they didn't like. I liked it was a bit darker. The DC universe is always a bit dark, especially where Batman's involved. There's so many aspects to this I liked. I liked, like I said, the evolution of Superman. I liked the way he looked. I liked the relationship he had with Lois Lane and the relationship he still had with his mother. And his mother says this really, really great thing, which I really, really love. She says to him, you can be what they want you to be. Be their hero, be their god, be their whatever they want you to be, or be none of it. You don't owe anybody anything. I absolutely love that sort of thing. Because his mother, once again, like in Man of Steel, saying to him, he has a choice. He can be what they want him to be, or he doesn't have to be. He chooses what he needs to do or what he wants to do. And it's as simple as that. And just what he decides to do. And his mother keeps being that voice of reason. Like in a lot of the comic books and Smallville and stuff, Jonathan Kent was always the voice of reason. But because Jonathan Kent's not around, it falls to Martha. And she is really able to say these really fantastic things, well-written stuff, in order for Superman to decide what he needs to do and work out who he is. That he has a choice. He can make choices. They may be difficult choices, but he does have a choice. After the battle of Batman and Superman, it's really interesting to see them band together. And the introduction of Wonder Woman, I think she was really great in this. I think everything she's been in, Wonder Woman, they've got her right in different aspects. And they've always got her right. Even in Wonder Woman was fantastic. In Justice League, I still think they got her really, really right. And Gal Gadot is brilliant here and does a really great job. Sort of reluctant to get involved, but when she does, it's this smile on her face, like being back in battle. And seeing her and Batman and Superman all fighting together is fantastic. I think Snyder did another good job here with the film he's created. The visuals are pretty solid. The story has a few holes and issues, but ultimately it is still entertaining and well put together. And like I said, the Ultimate Edition is the best way to watch this film. He begins, in Man of Steel as this glimmer of hope, and now he sort of loses that in this film. And I kind of like that. I like what they did with him very much. And I think Henry Cavill does another great solid job here, and he's a good solid actor. Amy Adams is good. I think Jesse Eisenberg does a really great job as Lex Luthor. It's a very different version than we've ever seen, but it's still very well put together and executed. Gal Gadot's brilliant in this as Wonder Woman appearing, and I think Ben Affleck does a really brilliant job of Batman. And I think Jeremy Irons is perfectly cast as Alfred, and I don't know why they haven't done that before. He's so great in this, and I'd like to see a bit more of him as the movies go on, because I think he's such a great character. And this was sort of the film that introduced the new Batman and Wonder Woman, and then led into Justice League, which will be the next film I do review. So overall, I think this is a really great film. And if you like the Superman story, I think you should sort of watch this film as well. Whether you've heard good or bad things about it, still watch it and make up your own mind. It is very different to the other films, but I do like what they've done with it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Now, the next film I will be reviewing is Justice League. But like I said before, I'm only going to focus on the Superman aspect of that storyline and not focus too much on the other characters, because it's really all about the Superman sort of storylines that I want to talk about, and the aspects of Superman in these particular films. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.